Hello, everyone. Welcome to Backyard Musings, broadcasting live from Apple Valley. I'm Steve.
I'm Scott.
Thank you for joining us today. Scott's favorite subject, talking about space again. How Galileo, Figaro.
This is
How
some
his
of this
is
stuff brings back memories.
discovering the moons of Jupiter has revolutionized astronomy. So the screen that you see right here is the actual two telescopes, Galileo's two of his telescopes,
Interesting.
and it looks like they're on this little pedestal thing.
Almost like a transit.
Oh yeah, maybe that's how he, spins and turns. I don't know. Yeah. That's ingenious. And then 4 pictures of Jupiter with its 4 largest moons, the ones that are closest to it. All right.
This is like 400 years ago, right?
Yeah,
they did this a little over 400 years ago. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy.
Well, 400, 420, 414.
Yeah.
Galileo Galilei's, that's an interesting name, Galileo Galilei. Very interesting. His telescopic discovery of Jupiter's 4 moons in 1610 revolutionized astronomy and supported heliocentric theories. I think helio is like the sun-centric. Back then, the Earth was the center, right? Probably flat, too.
Well, I'm sure there was a lot of people that thought it was.
Subsequent centuries saw more moons discovered and a focus shift toward Europa, which we've reported on Europa, missions going there, believed to potentially harbor life, prompting advanced exploratory missions. On January 7th, that's this month, 1610, Italian astronomer Galileo Galilei used his newly improved homemade telescope, which magnified objects 20 times, to observe the planet Jupiter. Nearby, he noticed 3 points of light that he initially thought were distant stars. However, as he tracked them over several nights, he saw something unusual. These points of light moved in a way inconsistent with the background stars, because those stars pretty much stay. They're like, they would all move together. And these were like, going around.
Speaking of that, go ahead and finish your thing.
They strayed close to Jupiter and shifted their positions relative to one another. Would you like to know more?
Okay, before we get into that, though, this is one of the dates that we talked about a few days ago about being able to see the planets align.
Oh, yeah.
January 13th.
Yeah, I remember that.
So is that early in the morning, or would that be later on tonight?
Right after sundown, yeah.
Okay, so we'll be able to start seeing them line up again. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I've been looking in the sky, because I went out with the missionaries the other night, and I showed them, real funny, I'll tell you after the segment what one of them said. But I showed them, you can see, Venus over here and Jupiter, and, I was showing them that, and they were like pretty jazzed.
Cool. Okay, so 4 days later, Galileo spotted a 4th point of light behaving the same way. By January 15th, which is my wife's birthday, he realized that these were not distant stars, but 4 moons orbiting Jupiter. This groundbreaking discovery provided strong evidence for the Copernican theory, which proposed that celestial objects do not revolve around the Earth.
What? Heresy, man. That's heresy.
Yeah, well, back in those days,
burn him at the stake.
That could cost you.
Off with his head, right?
Or other extremities. Yeah. They might get a little crazy.
Yeah, they thought the Earth was flat and that everything revolved around the Earth. I mean, I guess if you don't have greater light and knowledge, then
so these guys were innovative and really reaching out there. They took their lives in their own hands when they come up with these
observation,
ideas.
Though, right? They observed.
Right.
Science,
But, it might rile the king, right? Or whoever's in charge back then, and that could cost you. So, anyway.
The king is clothed when he's naked. You just got to do what he says, follow what he says, right? Yeah. Isn't that something like that?
Just don't look at a telescope.
Right. So. In March 1610, Galileo published his findings in a book titled Sidereus Nuncius, The Starry Messenger. There's a painting of that.
I'm not familiar with that.
That was on the 100. That's how I know of it. Sci-fi show. It's one of the famous painters. Not Geth. I don't know. One of the famous painters. You guys let us know. Let us know. Anyways, the Starry Messenger detailing his observations of Jupiter's moons and other celestial phenomena. As their discoverer, Galileo had the privilege of naming the moons. He proposed naming them after his patrons, the Medici family, and throughout much of the 17th century, they were referred to as the Medician stars. However, in his personal notes, Galileo simply numbered them 1, 2, 3, and 4 based on their distance from Jupiter. Today, these 4 moons are collectively known as the Galilean satellites, a tribute to their discoverer.
Okay. In 1614, what is that, about 4 years later, right?
4 years later.
The German astronomer Johannes Kepler suggested naming the satellites after mythological figures associated with Jupiter, namely Io, which I think we've talked about Io before, right?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto.
Yeah, these are Roman names. Jupiter was a Roman god of everything. Superior god, yeah.
But his idea didn't catch on for more than 200 years. Scientists didn't discover any more satellites around Jupiter until 1892, when American astronomer E. Barnard found Jupiter's 5th moon, Almathia, much smaller than the Galilean moons and orbiting closer to the planet than Io. It was the latest satellite in the solar system found by visual observation. All subsequent discoveries occurred via photography or digital imaging. As of today, astronomers have identified 95 moons orbiting Jupiter. That is a lot.
It's got a gravity pull, doesn't it?
That's a lot.
It's got a gravity pull.
But I mean, Jupiter is one of those. It's a pretty good sized planet.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's why it's called Jupiter. Biggest.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, incredible. I didn't know 95. There might be more out there.
That could be its own solar system.
Yeah.
Maybe people living on those moons think that Jupiter's their sun.
Maybe. I never thought of that. Although each of the Galilean satellites has unique features, such as the volcanoes of Io, that's where they filmed Star Wars, where Anakin became Sith, right? Where he had his legs cut off.
That's one of the 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, where he had his legs cut off.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
But the volcano. Yeah. Okay. The heavily cratered surface of Callisto and the magnetic field of Ganymede. Scientists have focused more attention on Europa due to the tantalizing possibility that it might be hospitable to life. In the 70s, NASA's Pioneer 10 and 11 and Voyager 1 and 2 spacecraft took ever increasingly detailed images of the large satellites, including Europa, during their flybys of Jupiter.
So that's when my dad worked for Jet Propulsion Laboratory during that period of time, and their tracking stations were. We had one here, Goldstone, which is about 75 miles from here, out by Fort Irwin.
I didn't know that.
Yep. And then there's one in Spain, Madrid, Spain. There used to be 2 in Australia, but I think there's only 1 now. And then I'm trying to think where the 4th one is.
There's some satellite domes out Bishop when you go 365.
Yeah, those don't track the spacecraft or go this deep space stuff, but that's all the same. I think that's all through JPL. They do like shorter stuff because some of those satellites are really tiny. But like there's one out at Goldstone that's a 210 footer. It's huge. And
it's a telescope or
it's a dish antenna. Yeah, so they got several out there. So anyway, the photographs revealed Europa to have the smoothest surface of any object in the solar system, indicating a relatively young crust, and also one of the brightest of any satellite, indicating Johannesburg, South Africa is where the other one is, indicating a highly reflective surface.
Good things you can deduce from that. If it's bright, it's probably reflective.
Yeah. These features led scientists to hypothesize that Europa is covered by an icy crust floating on a subsurface salty ocean. They further postulated that tidal heating caused by Jupiter's gravity reforms the surface ice layers in cycles of melting and freezing.
Yeah, like over and over. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you get
so it warms up just enough.
Is going around its axis, it melts when it's in front, tidal locked with Jupiter. Yeah, crazy. Let's go to slide 2 here. 2 of 2. All right, here we go.
It's a fascinating looking planet. Jupiter. Yeah.
Jupiter is, yeah. So this is Io or Europa. This is Europa right here. Whatever that says, I can't read it. It's too small. But it shows, fissures coming up from that little ocean underneath that they think. This is a rendition, right?
Yeah. Speculation.
Speculation. More detailed observations from NASA's Galileo spacecraft that orbited Jupiter between 1995 and 2003 and completed 11 close encounters with Europa revealed that long linear features on its surface may indicate tidal or tectonic activity. And we're going to know more because that mission that was set to, we'll get pictures back in
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah,
5 years. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Reddish brown material along the fissures and in splotches elsewhere on the surface may contain salts and sulfur compounds transported from below the crust and modified by radiation.
Observations from the Hubble Space Telescope and reanalysis of image from Galileo revealed possible plumes emanating from beneath the Europa's crust, lending credence to that hypothesis. While the exact composition of this material is not known, it likely holds clues to whether Europa may be hospitable to life. So,
yeah,
or maybe not now, but maybe at one time, right?
Maybe at one time, or
or
if there's
up.
water. If there's water, there can be life.
Yeah.
Future robotic explorers of Europa may answer some of the outstanding questions about this unique satellite of Jupiter. NASA's Europa Clipper, that's what we did the segment on, set off in October 2024 on a 5.5-year journey to Jupiter, where no man has gone before. Yes, that's true. Yep. After its arrival in 2030, the spacecraft will enter orbit around the giant planet and conduct 49 flybys of Europa during its 4-year mission. Remember, we reported because of the radiation, it's got to dart in, get its stuff, and dart back out. Remember that? Managed by JPL, Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena, California, and the Applied Physics Lab at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland. Europa Clipper will carry 9 instruments, including imaging systems and a radar to better understand the structure of the icy crust.
Data from Europa Clipper will complement information returned by the European Space Agency's JUICE, which is the Jupiter Icy Moon Explorer.
I like that, man.
Interesting.
Jupiter Icy Moon Explorer, JUICE.
Spacecraft launched in April of 2023, so a couple of years ago. JUICE will first enter orbit around Jupiter in 2031, and then enter orbit around, is that Ganymede or Ganymede? Whatever. Yeah. In 2034. The spacecraft also plans to conduct studies of Europa's complementary with Europa's Clippers. Interesting. Okay. The 2 spacecraft should greatly increase our understanding of Europa and perhaps uncover new mysteries. So
it's just fascinating.
It's good that they are still sending these things up, and it's a delayed gratification thing, right? You got to wait for this thing to get there, and you got to hope that it's gonna
the next generation will learn more. Learn more.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully, we have people that are still interested in this stuff.
Maybe we'll have a Starfleet. Elon Musk, SpaceX.
You never know. He's a smart guy, and he's got some smart kids, from what I understand. They're young, but
Barron Trump is pretty smart too. He might be the next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could be in charge of the Empire.
Maybe. The Klingon Empire?
No.
He's not Klingon.
The good Empire.
The good
Empire, right?
Oh,
Star
the
Wars.
Empire. Okay.
Empire Strikes Back.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you in the afternoon.
Take care, everyone.
There we go. Here we go. Bye-bye.